morning and welcome everybody. Thank you to United Potato Growers, Lucas, Mark, Dale for giving me the opportunity to talk about potato storage today. If you'll remember, last year was my first year up here and I wanted to have an awareness of potato storage, and we called it the second season. And that's what I'm up here again today, to keep the awareness of potato storage as the second season, with growing be the first. And I've noticed even since last year, NAPSO has started. I've seen a lot more social media posts, reposts, and articles in magazines and whatnot regarding storage. So I think we're making a lot of progress on being aware of the storages, and potatoes aren't done when they go in, they have a whole nother life. So I'll talk about that today. So my other passion is sports, so I figured I'd make an analogy and kind of follow along with sports as well as potatoes. So U.S. football season, but for international, you could take it to soccer, you could take it to just about any other sport you want. You've got your spring training or your preseason, you got to do your pre-planning. Then you've got your regular season, your growing season, and then you've got your bowl season, which we're in the middle of here in the U.S. in college bowls. Thus, our potatoes' second season. So we've got to watch our film. We've got to know what we're doing. We've got to, that's our winter, and pre-planning and ordering and what happened last year, making our analogies, studying our records from the past, buying the right seed, buying the right varieties, know your varieties, field selection, and the crop intent. And what do I mean by crop intent is it going to go fresh? Is it a short storage, medium, intermediate? Or are we looking to carry these potatoes for almost a birthday? All this sets up to your storage program and what you're going to do in your second season before we even plant the crop. So now we're at planting to harvest. We got the varietal characteristics, irrigation management, the watering, you've got insect pressure, disease issues to deal with, excessive temps, both cold and hot, light nitrogen management, I'll cover in another slide. Effective kill down. Effective kill down is really going to set up your storage. Are you going to have wet potatoes go in? Are you harvesting in dry conditions? Are the potatoes going to be dehydrated, properly hydrated? And then, like I said, the harvest field conditions. That's the last step before they're going to go into the storage. And you really need to pay attention to what that's going to set your storage up for what your storage program is going to need to be, any adjustments that you need to make from your pre-planning. So for some examples, we've seen wet spots. Some of us want to harvest all the way to get that last potato, but it's not necessarily going to pay off if you're taking and putting a couple 100 pounds of wet potatoes or rotten potatoes in a 50,000 sack storage, and then you've got to manage it because we pushed it too far. Temperatures. We can go from harvesting in maximum the 65-degree temperature and pushing hot temperatures, and by the end of our harvest season, we're worried about it being too cold. And then there's that in-between where we're harvesting warm potatoes, but then the next day we're putting potatoes that are warm, harvested during the day, and we have a tendency to want to fill that storage up, so we'll put some warm potatoes on cold potatoes. We need to watch all our ventilation and storage and how that's going in, and remembering that for the storage season. So late nitrogen for yield. Some of us are putting on nitrogen, some aren't. Not that it's right or wrong, but nitrogen's for growth. And when we get to the end of the season, we'll try to put the potatoes to sleep. So for caffeine drinkers, it'd be kind of like drinking a whole bunch of Mountain Dew or coffee at 7 o'clock at night. You're not really going to go to sleep very well, and neither are your potatoes. So keep in mind how you're managing putting growth stuff on when we're actually trying to set them up to go to sleep in the storage. You have over mature potatoes. Maybe we killed or the field died down. We're getting out of our harvest rotation and knowing that over mature potatoes are going to have a tendency to sprout. That's going to affect your storage program. You're going to have to make some adjustments as well. And now the second season. The point of the talk here today is, what are we going to do? How did they go in? We have to be honest with ourselves. Not all potatoes that look good are going in good. We have to understand all the stuff that I just talked about to have an effective storage program. So thanking University of Idaho, we've got the 5 main notice reasons. And notice reasons are what the potatoes in this study, when they were received at the other end, what they were either rejected for or noted for with issues. So this kind of gives us an idea of the majority of what we're going to see coming out of the storages. So this was a 3-year study, 18, 19, 20, and you got the sunken, discolored, wet, dry rot, shatter, bruise. So you can see it varies by year. That's going back to the growing season of each year, but somewhere in there, most of those top 5 are covered. Just some examples of those. You've got the immaturity on the left, shatter, bruise, some type of rot there for the third picture, and then we've got the black spot. So this slide is a summary of the other 3, just kind of give us an idea of the occurrences and the percentage of all those occurrences. You can see wet spot, black bruise, and sunken discolored are the most popular top 3. But from my experience and all the storages of my years, it really varies. And how we predict it and try to manage it and mitigate it is super important. So now we've identified this, and we've identified the growing seasons, what can be done about it? Now granted, most potatoes are going in fine, the regular regimen is good, but what do we do with the problem issues? So first of all, we got to select the right coaches. So you guys are the team, you're the owners of the team, but what can I do? Who can I reach out to? And there's a whole myriad of people. You've got universities, you've got your applicators, you've got your private information systems, and you can see I try to get a cross-section across the world of every country. There's coaches out for you to reach out to say, hey, I've got this problem, or what do you think? Or I'm not sure, should we run this early or late? Select your coaches to help you out. We all do it during the season. We all have crop consultants, but how many of us have storage consultants? It's just as important to have a storage consultant and somebody to help you and be a sounding board for you. So the game plan and some issues and some strategies for the issues that I pointed out. So these aren't in any particular order, and I try to be cross-sectioned across companies as well as issues or methods. But for rot, you've got fruit guard. It's a carbon dioxide gas. Fungicides, desiccants. For the field heat, we all generally deal with field heat at some point. Some air is better than no air. So oftentimes I've heard, oh, I didn't get the cool air at night, or I didn't get something, so I didn't run my system. Run your air. The air is important, whether it's warm or not. Keep that air going through there. You don't want the potatoes to get stagnant. And satisfactory cooling tonnage if you have AC on your cellars. Are they matched up with the amount of tonnage that's going in there? Or are you going to try to fill the cellar in one day with warm potatoes and your storage doesn't have the capacity? Likewise, pre-cool your cellars. Because if you're putting warm potatoes in, you don't want to have to try to cool the cellar, the structure, and the potatoes at the same time. Have your structure help with the cooling. Immature potatoes. Going to take the skin off. It's an open portal for water escape, which 1,4-Site can help with the reduction of respiration. You've got PAAs that are going to help with the bacteria, so it doesn't get in and enter those open spots in the skinned up areas and cause rot, which we have to go back to the top one on. And recirculation and humidity. Those potatoes are going to try to get rid of water through those skinned areas. Make sure the water content in the cellar is as high or higher than what it's in the potato, so that water doesn't want to leave and go into the air. Pressure bruise. As potatoes, again, it's respiration. And I always go back to, you're in a playground and you're playing and you get in the bottom of the pile. You're all good until you let the air out of your lungs or the water out of your potato. Once you're squished, you're not going to get rehydrated, and you're not going to, get your lungs back until somebody gets off the top of you. So again, 1,4-Site can help with respiration. You've got maximum hydration. You want to keep that cellar fully hydrated. And you want to make sure that your air temps and your pulp temperatures are working together. Again, respiration management. Keep that potato calm, keep it nice, going to sleep, and not wanting to get rid of its water. Then we've got the sprouting issues. So we've got sprouting in a capacity of preventing sprouting or burning off sprouts and dealing with it. So for storage sprouting, you've got CIPC in most areas, Elfering products, you've got 1,4-site again for a sprout inhibitor, you've got various essential oils, 1,4-Zap or Smart Block for burn agents. The Smart Block, you can do a combination shot with CIPC. And again, you've got the desiccants to burn sprouts off if they get out of control. And then lastly, for early dormance break, just to try and get the potato to not want to sprout at all and get those peeps or those buds on you, would be 1,4-site application to try and prevent us having to go back to all the other applications of after they're sprouting. So remember, your special teams coaches are here to help you. That's what Expo is for. All the vendors, all the people in networking. We're all here to collaborate to bring the most potatoes per hectare, per acre to the consumers. And we would like to be part of that. So stop by us at our booth at 826. And my team that put this together wanted to prove that even I can go to sleep with like our potatoes. So I think they thought this was funny, and I was coming back on an international flight, and I think most of you feel this way, that I just wanted to sleep in between flights. So somebody got me in a weak moment. Special thanks again to Mike Thornton and Nora Olson. A lot of the data on the issues, the percentages and stuff came out of their study, so I want to acknowledge them. Again, thank you to United Potato Growers for their support in allowing me to come up and again try to promote the second season. And again, visit our booth, 826, and have a great expo and good summit here, and thank you very much.